Welcome to another episode of the Elevate podcast. So today we are on the second episode and on the second part of the most important aspect within workplaces, the misunderstandings. I'm sure in today's workplace we just don't struggle because we lack skills, intelligence or opportunity. We struggle because of misunderstandings. Thereby, everyone are yearning for clarity. So last week we saw 3 misconceptions in a workplace. The first was on leadership, the second was on sales, and the third was on productivity. I thank each and every one of you who gave your valued comments and encouraged me on this new endeavor. Thank you very much. I hope you will continue to join us and be a part of the Elevate podcast with Eric in the coming days and years. So today we are talking about another 2 misconceptions which are impacting the workplaces. Number 1, it's about people. It's about generational misconceptions. The second is going to be on communications. So today, as we go into this podcast, I once again remind you that this is a space where we learn, we rethink, and we grow together. I hope you will always be a part of this journey. So as we look at the people's mindset, this misconception is widely now entering into the workspace. The older generation might think the younger generation lack work ethics, while the younger generation might think my manager doesn't seem to understand me because they might be old school. So there's been a tug of war in the recent past between the Gen Zs, if I may be more specific, and the other generations. This tug of war which is going on in workplaces today is an important element to be understood, to be recognized, and to be addressed immediately in a timely manner, which could not just help us retain good employees, also build a harmonious relationship and leading them to a productive workspace. Although that is a misconception, the reality today is that the younger generation values purpose, flexibility, and authenticity over some of the rigid structures the workplaces have thus far displayed. Most older managers, on the other hand, genuinely want to support younger employees, but their leadership style was shaped in a different era. What we see is not resistance from the older generation, but it's an understanding gap that needs a little bit of tweak and alignment. So, in this space where we yearn to understand each other, let's give some empathy towards each other. Let's try to understand each other's circumstances, the background, which has led them to be who they are today in their workplaces. The key element why there is so much of friction within generations in the workplace is all about communication. I believe senior leaders and managers in organizations need to be careful not to stereotype the Gen Zs and box them or judge them, assuming things about them resulting in being biased. Similarly, Gen Zs should be more mindful to understand the background. Their entire experience were molded within elements such as stability, hierarchy, experience, patience, time-earned credibility, formal communication, and thereby the older generation sometimes tend to value them more. But their behavior shouldn't be mistreated and misunderstood as resistance. Maybe there could be few. I'm not disowning them at all. But most of the people are trying to understand you, the Gen Zs, I hope you will also be empathetical towards them. So, what are the 3 steps I would like to discuss today, which could bring each other closer to a midpoint, I might say, to create that synergy, to connect, to collaborate, and to contribute towards the organization's goals, visions, and outcome? The number one element is awareness. We need to be more conscious that today's workplace consists of 5 generations. The younger generations will need to understand the background and work environments the older generations have been exposed to. Similarly, like I said, the older generations needs to understand the changes in workplaces that occurred within the past decade, within the evolution of technology, the post-COVID elements, and basically the economic crisis. Let's remember that people behave the way they do because of the experience and environments that have been shaping them over time. It is the same to any generation, young or old. Number 2 is engagement. Communication plays a vital role in this. We need to understand each other and start engaging with people, which is vital in sharing each other's thoughts, each other's experiences, and to create that awareness, to bridge that gap, which is widening day after day. For example, fresh ideas are like new sprouts in a tree, while deep roots are referred to the older generation's experiences. A synergy between new ideas and certain deep down experiences and lessons learned could go together hand in hand in order to make sure the old mistakes are not repeated and new ideas are generated to move forward in these new technological spaces. Growth is only possible with both stability and renewal. The third most important thing is alignment. There is a midpoint where we need to agree on our shared expectations, work styles, behaviors, and ways of moving forward together. There could be reverse mentoring. While the older generation mentors the younger generation too could mentor the older generation towards technological spaces and create that sync, that engagement between the two. So alignment is about translating awareness and engagement into shared expectations and collaborative works so that they can work with each other. It's where generations agree on how to move forward, blending strengths, clarifying responsibilities, and building a unified culture, which is utmost important in today's workplace. So today, as we go on to our second part of misconception, is communication itself. At one time in our workplaces, silence meant agreement. In today's workplace, silence could be many things. Today, silence can mean discomfort, confusion, and even disengagement. Sometimes people stay silent because they feel unsafe or intimidated. They may fear judgment, rejection, and consequences if they speak up. So thereby, especially in front of senior leaders or dominant personalities, many of the people remain silent, and that does not mean approval. And some of the examples, what it looks like could be, they avoid eye contacts, they just nod without enthusiasm, they wait for the meeting to end rather than contribute. So in reality, they may disagree or have ideas, but don't feel comfortable sharing them. So silence could mean discomfort. Once again, silence could also mean confusion. People may also be quiet because they don't fully understand the conversation, instructions, or the expectations which is being set. They stay silent to avoid appearing incompetent or slowing down the conversation or the discussion. And what this could look like in a meeting room or in a boardroom could be they ask no questions. They are a bit unsure and they look unsure or hesitant at times. And they execute tasks incorrectly, although they may seem they are listening to you. So in reality, they need clarity, not speed. Also, please do not forget to reiterate and to reconfirm their understanding. Then the last stage is silence could also mean disengagement. Sometimes silence means the person has mentally checked out. They may feel that their input doesn't matter at all. They might feel that the leaders or managers are just, for name's sake, have these meetings, but at the end do not even care to listen, nor use some of the important suggestions or ideas shared. And this could totally disengage your team, your counterparts. They don't worry about things. They lack interest and energy. They just participate in meetings just because they have to. So I'm sure these misconceptions would have resonated with you, and maybe some of them are a part of today's organization where you are employed. I want you to comment on some instances, on some examples, on where you have faced similar instances. And also feel free to share some of your own thoughts, which have not been covered yet. And I'm sure next week we'll be coming up with a very, very interesting topic, focusing on the generational gaps. A deep diving topic which is essential for today's workplace. At Stratex, we do a lot of talking on this subject. We at Stratex would love to have a program at your workplaces just to create that awareness and give you an idea as to what could be the cases and how they should be mitigated in the coming days. We would love to listen to you, be a part of your organization, and be a part of the engagement. We would love for you to reach out to us via LinkedIn or email to us on connect@statexventures.com, or please WhatsApp me on the number given below. Your feedback shapes this podcast. Tell me about the topics which you want me to explore. So in the coming weeks, we could align them to our list of topics so that could benefit you and the people around you. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this episode has helped you pause, reflect, and rethink the misconceptions that may be shaping your workplace today. I'd love to hear from you, as I said before, your thoughts, your questions, your challenges, and the misconceptions. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Signing off is Eric Winston. Have a great day.